To really be doing a read tonight. I really want to read from this amazing book that I got. It touches on so many things spiritually that because I guess everyone was scared. They was at a moment where people were thinking the world was about to end. I just can't believe that you would think a person would be that cold hearted to do that to someone. I think that really sat with, to me, it really showed where a lot of y'all's heads are, where a lot of your hearts are, to even think someone would be that cold hearted without negotiation. Like, I give Trump more heart than that. Like, y'all be on one for real. For y'all not to think that this man would have no heart, and I've been hearing it all day. Even had to come off of there was one on YouTube. I just had to come off. I was just like, this is starting to sound crazy. And then you clown him saying, "Oh, now he says he's gonna wait 2 weeks." Now that people gonna be looking at him like he's a punk or something. How are they looking at him as that? Why can't he just be negotiating? You know what I'm saying? Why he can't just be negotiating? So I'm gonna do a read tonight because there are some signs we have overlooked. I'm gonna first start with a new way to pray. And not like that, you stick to the way you pray. Everybody pray the way they gonna pray and pray in the way that you pray. But not from that sense. So not to take you away from what you do. But this is coming out of a book by Napoleon Hill. It's called Outwitting the Devil: The Secrets to Freedom and Success. But when I tell you it's so, oh wow, this is a great book. So a new way to pray. Since becoming better acquainted with my other self, my way of praying is different from what it was before. I used to go to prayer only when facing difficulty. Now I go to prayer before difficulty overtakes me. Ouch. Stop. Stop. When possible, I now pray not for more of this world's goods and greater blessings, but to be worthy of that which I already have. I find that this plan is better than the old one. Infinite intelligence seems not at all offended when I give thanks and show that I am grateful for the blessings which have crowned my efforts. I was astounded when I first tried this plan of offering a prayer of thanks for what I already possessed, to discover what a vast fortune I had owned without being appreciative of it. For example, I discovered that I possessed a sound body which had never been seriously damaged by illness. I had a mind which was reasonably well balanced. I had a creative imagination through which I could render useful service to great numbers of people. I was blessed with all the freedom I desired in both body and mind. I possessed an imperishable desire to help others who were less fortunate. I discovered that happiness, the highest aim of mankind, was mine for the taking. Business depression or no business depression. Last but by no means least, I discovered that I had the privilege of approaching infinite intelligence, either from the purpose of offering thanks for what I already possessed or to ask for more and for guidance. It may be helpful for every reader of this book to take inventory of his or her intangible assets, such as inventory. Such an inventory may disclose possessions of priceless value. So get an inventory on what you might not even think is important, may not be of value in someone else's eyes, but it holds a lot of value. So do some inventory on that. May we all make an inventory of our blessings in life and give thanks for every gift that we have been given. I know that when I am at a low point in my life, I force myself to think of my family and friends and the blessings that they have brought into my life. It is the quickest path up and puts my temporary setbacks into perspective. So, now, next on to this part, some signs we have overlooked. The whole world is undergoing a change of such stupendous proportions that millions of people have become panic stricken with worry, doubt, indecision, and fear. It seems to me that now is a splendid time for those who have come to the crossroads of doubt to endeavor to become acquainted with their other selves. Other selves. And he put the S at the end. I said, no, come through. And who wish to do so will find it helpful if they take a lesson from nature. I've always said, if you want to know how to love, or if you don't know how to love, you might think you do because you could buy somebody some things, but that's not love. Like, if you need to learn what love is, go out in nature. Nature can really show you what love is. So, as it says, all who wish to do so will find it helpful if they take a lesson from nature. Observation will show that the eternal stars shine nightly in their accustomed places, that the sun continues to send down its rays of warmth, causing Mother Earth to yield an overabundance of food and clothing, that water continues to flow downhill, that the birds of the air and the animals of the forest receive their accustomed requirements of food, that useful day follows restful nights, that busy summer follows the inactive winter, that the seasons come and go precisely as they did before the 1929 Depression began. That, in reality, only men's minds have created to function normally, and this because men have filled their minds with fear. Observation of these simple facts of everyday life may be helpful as a starting point for those who wish to supplant fear by faith. I am not a prophet, but I can, with all due modesty, predict that every individual has the power to change his or her material or financial status by first changing the nature of his or her beliefs. Every individual has the power to change his or her mind, his or her material or financial status by first changing the nature of his or her beliefs. It was right after publication of Think and Grow Rich in 1937 that Napoleon Hill began his manuscript for Outwitting the Devil. Through his interview with the devil, Hill discovers and reveals how the devil may be having his way with you and how you can ignite your other self to not only conquer the devil in your own life, but to also empower your other self, your God self, to achieve your greatest success. Throughout his work is the recurring theme of the importance of transforming your thoughts from fear to faith. Do not confuse the word belief with the word wish. Not the same. Everyone is capable of wishing for financial, material, or spiritual advantages. But the element of faith is the only sure power by which a wish may be translated into a belief and a belief into a reality. And right here is an appropriate place at which to call attention to a real benefit which anyone may experience by deliberately using faith in focusing attention upon any form of constructive desire. The mind acts upon one's dominating or most pronounced desires. There is no escape from this fact. It is a fact indeed. Be careful what you set your heart upon, for it surely shall be yours. That's why you gotta watch how you think. Your thoughts create it all. The soul has actions, and the soul's actions are thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing. Those are the actions. And with the sin, a sin is not done in the act, it's done in the desire and the wish. So faith is the beginning of all great achievement. If Edison has stopped by merely wishing for the secret with which electric energy might be harnessed and made to serve through the incandescent lamp, I may not be saying that right, that the convenience to civilization would have remained among nature's multifarious secrets. He met with temporary defeat more than 10,000 times before wresting this secret from nature. From wrestling this secret from nature. It was finally yielded up to him because he believed it would be. And he kept on trying until he had the answer. So he kept going. He didn't stop just because the one time, he tried 10,000 times. Edison uncovered more of nature's secrets. They might have been called miracles at an earlier period in the realm of physics than did any other man who had lived. And this because he became acquainted with his other self. I have his own word for this. But even if I did not have it, his achievements of themselves have disclosed the secret in their unfoldment. Nothing within reason is impossible to the man who knows and relies upon his other self. Whatever man believes to be true has a way of becoming true. A prayer is a released thought, sometimes expressed in audible words, and at other times expressed silently. I have observed by experience that a silent prayer is as efficient as it is as efficient, as the one which is expressed in words. I have observed also that one's state of mind is the determining factor when prayer words as well as when it does not. When prayer works as well as it does not, My conception of the other self, which I have tried to describe, is that it merely symbolizes a newly discovered approach to infinite intelligence, an approach which one may control and direct through the simple process of mixing faith with one's thoughts. This is only another way of saying that I now have greater faith in the power of prayer. The state of mind known as faith apparently opens to one the medium of a sixth sense through which one may communicate with sources of power and information far surpassing any available any available through the five physical senses. Use your five senses. Who is able to do so? There comes to there these come there comes to your aid and to do your bidding with the development of the sixth sense, a strange power which, let's us assume, is a guardian angel who can open to you at all times the door to the temple of wisdom. The sixth sense comes as near to being a miracle as anything I have ever experienced. And it appears so, perhaps, because I do not understand the method by which this principle is operated. This much I do know, that there is a power of a first cause or an intelligence which permeates, every atom of matter and embraces every unit of energy perceptible to man. That this infinite intelligence converts acorns into oak trees, causes water to flow downhill in response to the law of gravity, follows night with day, and winter with summer, each maintaining its proper place and relationship to the other. This intelligence may, and in transmuting one's desires into concrete or material form. I have this knowledge because I have experimented with it and I have experienced it. So experimented with it and experienced it. I know that's right. Never talking from a place you have nothing, no idea of, but those experiences that you've experimented with it, and you have the experience of it. That's something else, right? That's something else, right? So, how you doing? How you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Is this a little child? You gotta get off here, little person. You too little. They got the little children playing on the TikTok. Oh, y'all get them babies. That's why get these babies off these social media platforms. They just be coming in like, hi. No. Child, go to the child. They need a child's way, right? A child's way. But anyway, okay, back to where I was. So as I said, you have you've experimented with it and you have the experience from it. So I have for many years followed the habit of taking personal inventory of myself once a year for the purpose of determining how many of my weaknesses I have bridged or eliminated, and to assert you just wanna see, don't you? Hi. No, they can't see me. Hi,
okay.
sweetie.
Hi.
How you
Oh my
doing?
goodness.
Oh,
Good. How are you?
I'm good, my love. Say hi.
Little baby.
Say hi, Butterbean. And I'm just Butterbean, being
Oh my
Butterbean.
goodness. You are crazy, huh?
Oh
Yes, he
His
just
nose
loves
are
it.
really
Hey, his
Oh,
nose
careful,
was
careful,
sharp.
careful,
Yeah, his
careful.
nose
Sharp,
is
sharp,
very
sharp,
sharp.
sharp. Come back.
Don't let him do that.
Okay, nice to meet you,
Nice
love.
to meet you too.
So, where was I at? If any I have made during this year. Oh, so he was saying if let me go back to this. I have for many years followed the habit of taking personal inventory of myself once a year. That's something I think we should do. Take personal inventory of yourself once a year. Have you ever done that? That may be a great exercise so we can focus more on us and not everything else. By taking inventory of yourself and being grateful for what you do have. So, for the purpose of determining how many of my weaknesses I have bridged or eliminated, and to ascertain what progress, if any, I had made during the year. Had I made any progress during this year? This would be a good exercise for everyone. Take inventory on yourself. This section on faith is worth rereading a few times because it contains Hill's core teachings on prayer, faith, in his view. It's such a sixth sense or a spiritual power that enables one to succeed. If one is in step with the first cause of all things, one of his descriptions of God, his is a practical or scientific faith that emphasizes tangible results. In the book 3 Feet from Gold, my co author and I discussed the personal success equation that clearly reveals the importance of faith. So it gave an equation. It says it's in parentheses P plus T times A plus F. Your personal success equation. Combining your passion with your talent. So this is the equation. So combining your P with your T, so that's P plus T, passion with your talent, and then seeking the right association times the association, and taking the right times actions are very important components for success. But it is when you combine all those components with a strong faith in yourself and your mission that you truly have your personal success equation. So that equation is add your passion to your talent and then times that with the right association and then times that with the right action. And in doing so, you have created this component for success. You have created the component for success by doing that. So your passions plus your talents times it by the associations. So it's always your net worth. Your network is your net worth. So whatever your network is, that's your net worth. So what's your association? So time those associations. And then timing those associations, you time that by the action you put behind it. Because faith without works is dead. You can't build all this faith up and you put no work behind it because then it just doesn't even exist anymore, right? But it is when you combine all these components with a strong faith in yourself and your mission that you truly have your personal success equation. So that helps you have that. I'm going to go for just a few more minutes. We'll probably go 35 minutes. It's been 20. You should take time to exercise the brain. Read for 15 minutes a day. If you get up and read a page, then read another page if you can't take a full 15 minutes. But get the brain going. Get the exercises of your brain moving so that you can think clearer and you can put together your success equation, right? The equation for success. So while you are reading the interview with the devil, you will recognize from the brief description I have given you of the history of my life what a desperate effort the devil made to muzzle me before I gained public recognition. You will understand also after reading the interview with the devil why the interview had to be preceded by this personal history of my background. Before you begin to read the interview, I want you to have a clear picture of the final fling the devil had in me, and be it remembered with profit that it was this final fling which gave Mercy a chance to turn and twist the devil's tail until he squealed out his confession. The devil's undoing began with the depression in 1929. Through that fortunate turn of the will of life, I lost my 600-acre estate in the Catskill Mountains. My income was entirely cut off. The Harriman National Bank, in which all my funds were deposited, folded up and was wiped out. Before I realized what was happening, I found myself caught up in a spiritual and economic hurricane, which evolved into a worldwide catastrophic catastrophe of such force that no individual or group of individuals could withstand it. I can't find my glasses, y'all. I need my glasses because, while waiting for the storm to cease and the stampede of human fear to stop, I moved to Washington, D.C., the city from which I made my start after my first meeting with Andrew Carnegie, nearly a quarter of a century previously. There seemed nothing for me to do except sit down and wait. All I had was time. After 3 years of waiting without tangible results, my restless soul began to push me back into service. There was little opportunity for me to teach a philosophy of success when the world around me was in the midst of abject failure, and men's minds were filled with the poverty. See, I'm going through that right now. The thought came to me one evening while I was sitting in my automobile in front of the Lincoln Memorial on the Potomac River. When the shadow of the Capitol, within the shadow of the Capitol, with it came another thought. The world had staged an unprecedented depression. The world had staged. They told you this is a world stage. Many have said that this is a world stage. We'll go back to Central Casting. You want me to throw Central Casting up there? Well, even Napoleon Hill back in these days said the same thing. He said the same thing. So the world has staged an unprecedented depression over which no human being had control. With that depression had come to me an opportunity to test the philosophy of self determination, to the organization of which I had devoted the better portion of my adult life. Once more, I had the opportunity to learn whether my philosophy was practical or mere theory. I realized to the opportunity, I realized to the opportunity, what? I realized too the opportunity had come to test a claim I had made hundreds of times, that every adversity brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. What, if any, I asked myself, were the advantages to me of a world depression? When I began to look for a direction in which I might move to test my philosophy, I made the most shocking discovery of my life. I discovered that through some strange power, which I did not understand, I had lost my courage, my intuitive, no, hold up, no, excuse me. Where are my glasses? Oh boy, I need my reading glasses so bad right now. It is so funny. I'm like, man, what a time to want. But this was just getting so good that I had to share it. So I was like, I had lost my courage, my initiative had been demoralized by enthusiasm. My enthusiasm had been weakened. Worst of all, I was sorely ashamed to acknowledge that I was the author of a philosophy of self determination. Because down deep in my heart, I knew or thought I knew that I could not make my philosophy pull me out of the hole of despair in which I found myself. While I floundered in a state of mortal, no, I can come up, I'm gonna come up in a minute, of mental bewilderment, the devil must have been dancing a jig of rejoicing. At last, he had the author of the world's philosophy of individual achievement pinned under his thumb and paralyzed with indecision. As I sat there in front of the Lincoln Memorial, reviewing in retrospect the circumstances which had so many times previously lifted me to great heights of achievement, only to let me drop to equal depths of despair, a happy thought was handed over to me in the form of a definite plan of action by which I believed I could throw off and hypnotic of that hypnotic feeling of indifference with which I had been bound. In the interview with the devil, the exact nature of the power by which I had been deprived of my deprived of my initiative and courage had been described had been described. It is the same power with which millions of others were bound during the Great Depression. It is the chief weapon with which the devil ensnares and controls human beings. The sum and substance of this thought which came to me was was this. Despite the fact that I had learned from Andrew Carnegie and more than 500 others of equal business and professional achievements, that noteworthy achievements in all walks of life come through the application of the mastermind, the harmonious coordination of two or more minds working to a definite end. I had failed to make such an alliance for the purpose of carrying out my plan to take the philosophy of individual achievement to the world. Despite the fact I had understood the power of the mastermind, I had neglected to appropriate and use the power. I had been laboring as a lone wolf instead of allying myself with others and superior minds. So he was refusing to even do that. We gotta find other superior minds to be around. You can't be the smartest person in the room. It's not good to be. Or at least play stupid to not be the smartest person in the room, to learn something from someone else, even if it's something you know. The interview with the devil may have occurred as Hill sat at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. Was it real? It was real to Hill and created the framework for how he lived his life and shared his revelations with us and his students. Stop. I have examined, wait. Hold on, where am I at? Every great leader of the past whose records I have examined was beset by difficulties and met with temporary defeat before arriving. Hill also describes in his works how these great leaders surrounded themselves with masterminds. They conquered their inner struggles and adversities and then used the power of the mastermind to propel their success. Consider how you could form a mastermind group, a team to help you overcome adversity and propel you to success. Think of a group like that. Do an inventory on yourself. Do inventory on yourself to really see if to see what you got that you don't didn't even realize you're not appreciating. Go find that. See if you can find it somewhere. Just start you one and do it day by day. Do it for the next 7 days. Let's take our minds off of everything else that's going on in the world and let's focus on us. Let's find formulas to help us. Remember, add your passions to your talents. Time it by your associations, and then times that by by how active you'll be. Be active in your stuff. Like add to it. Get it going. So for the next 7 days, make that a challenge to do inventory on yourself. Do inventory for 7 days because it's a lot of stuff you're missing. There's things you overlooked for the blessings that you already had while you're still wondering where something else is coming from. But also, the world's going to do what it's going to do. But we still have to make sure that we're going to do our part to be better people, and to love better, treat each other better, and become the change you want to see. So, y'all have a good night. I just wanted to give y'all a little reading tonight.